After the hour of 6 o'clock, it is Friday, the 15th day of October, 2021. Mark Saiz, your host here on the early morning program, and I'm going to get a little bit more volume on my mic, if you do not mind, just a little bit more for you, because it looks like the levels are a little bit lower this morning. Even my earphones seem like maybe it's my ears. Maybe that's what it was. Anyway, we are in the 18th chapter of the book of Numbers. Want to let you know I have a prayer line for the YouTube and for the Facebook people. KLYN audience has already heard that prayer line is open at 310-9658. Those are available to you till 8 o'clock this morning. We have finished looking at the rebellion of Korah. There's been a lot of rebellion. My wife and I were talking about this yesterday, is the assault against the authority, the God's placed authority. Moses is God's placed authority. From there, we move over to the priesthood and talk about the high priest Aaron, and his authority is being in question in the chapters that we just finished coming on. The people had the opportunity to enter into the promised land. A couple of chapters ago, they decided not to. And then they decided to. And then they decided to go after Moses. Then they decided to go after Aaron. And that's where we find ourselves. So we start talking today, and if you're looking at our screen this morning, we're looking, well, if I would put it up on the screen, then you could look at it, the duties of the priests and Levites. So we're having a manager's meeting today with God in the 18th chapter of the book of Numbers. You know, every once in a while, you got to call your leadership together. You got to have a little, well, we call it now a come to Jesus meeting. This is a come to Yahweh meeting, was what it is. And the priests and the Levites are going to be reminded of their responsibilities. Every time that God reminds them of their responsibilities, he, how would we say it? He accentuates something that they, you know, here, and I believe this is why we're doing this. This is the first time we're going to hear about the priests and the Levites. This is the first time that we've heard about the priests and the Levites and some of their duties that we have to do. But we have judged a whole generation of people that are going to fall in the wilderness because of their disbelief. So really, the word is coming to the new generation. Those that are 20 and under, or under 20 probably is the correct way of saying it. So here we are talking about the duties of the priests and the Levites. Then the Lord said to Aaron, okay, Aaron, we're going to have a little sit down. So God is not speaking just to Moses. God speaks to Aaron also. You and your sons and your father's house with you shall bear the iniquity related to the sanctuary. You and your sons with you shall bear the iniquity associated with your priesthood. So God says you have a responsibility, Aaron, and it's not just for you, but it's for your sons and those successive generations that are going to come after you, that they have a responsibility. Because there is going to be iniquity, and it's just a fact of life. But there, as long as you perform the duties that I have asked you to do, we can take care of the sin of the people. And the sanctuary was where that was going to happen. One of these days it was going to be the temple. After David dies, we're going to go from sanctuary to temple, from tabernacle to temple is what we're going to do. It's just a more permanent place than the tabernacle was. I mean, it was built in the wilderness under Moses' ministry. I could imagine by the time that David comes on the scene, it has a little bit of wear and tear on it. And David wants to build a house. He's feeling a little guilty because he's got a good-looking house and God is still living in a tent. But God doesn't live in houses made with human hands. That's what the book of Hebrews says. Don't worry about God. He's okay. It's about man, and God is concerned about man. God is concerned about their eternal destiny. God is not only concerned about, we sometimes we get a little bit too much caught up in this heaven thing. Oh yeah, Jesus loves you and he's got a plan for your life and he wants you to live in heaven for him forever and ever. That's good. That's all great. That's good bait to throw out to catch some fish. But we got the net. The net is that God has something for you now, here and now, and then we talk about in the sweet by and by. And as long as there is going to be people in the wilderness with Aaron, and then when Aaron passes away, as long as there's going to be sons of Abraham, God is concerned about their eternal destiny. And also, he is concerned about their relationship with him and one another in the wilderness and when they enter into the promised land. You and your sons and your father's house with you shall bear the iniquity related to the sanctuary. So the sanctuary was the place that we're going to take care of this problem, a problem that appeared to mankind in the beginning in Genesis chapter 3, when Mama and Daddy decided that apple looked pretty good and they took a big old bite out of it. Was it an apple? I don't know if it really says an apple or not. I'm not sure. Urban legends sometimes creep in and we think that it's truth. You and your sons in your father's house with you, verse 1 again, shall bear the iniquity related to the sanctuary. So you have a responsibility. You guys are going to do what I've asked you to do in the proper procedure, proper protocol. Everything's going to be okay because we're living in a fallen world and we can expect that we're going to need to talk about these on a regular basis. And you and your sons with you shall bear the iniquity associated with your priesthood. So there's a burden that goes along with it. Korah saw the glory. All Korah saw was, oh my God, everybody, they really respect Moses, and I want some of that. But I don't think he understood the responsibility that came with it. And Korah was a Levite. Also, bring with you and your brethren the tribe of Levi. That's where Korah was. Korah was a Levite. And I think that one of the things that God is doing as he gets into the 18th chapter of Numbers and inspires Moses to write this is to remind the people that, yes, that we've had some problem with the Levites. We had some problem with insurrection, rebellion, but hey, we can cover it. We can take care of it. We have a way of keeping that flow going of relationship one with another. God is interested in your relationship with him and interested with your relationship with those around you. Also, bring with you your brethren of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your father, that they may be joined with you and serve while you and your sons are with you before the tabernacle of witness. So we have, and we've covered this in depth in other chapters that we've been in, other books that we've been in, what the responsibilities is going to do. But we have the priesthood that is going to minister in the tabernacle. We have the Levites, and the Levites were going to help the priests, everything to do with the relationship and the righteousness that God was establishing with these people, except they were not to have anything to do with the holy things of the tabernacle. That was for the priesthood. But they were the brothers. They were the priests, the sons of Aaron came out of the tribe of Levi. Verse 3, they shall attend to your needs and all the needs of the tabernacle. But they shall not come near the articles of the sanctuary and the altar, lest they die, they and you also. So when it comes down to the holy things, well, isn't everything holy? Yeah, up to a point everything's holy. But there's some things that are holier than others. I'll say that again, just in case somebody there's some things that are holier than others. See, Korah had a problem. Says all God's people are holy. Yeah, I guess we can kind of agree with that, but there's some stinking thinking in there. Where's our heart? Where's our discipline? How much of the holiness of God can we take? The Levites are going to attend to the needs of the priesthood and the needs of the tabernacle, but they shall not come near the articles of the sanctuary and the altar, lest they die, lest they die, they and you also. This can affect many people. Verse 4 says, they shall be joined with you and attend the needs of the tabernacle of meeting for all the work of the tabernacle, but an outsider shall not come near. So, so you have to understand, this is like a concentric circles. You have God in the middle, living in the tabernacle. His presence has been deposited in the tabernacle. Around the first circle is going to be the priesthood. And then around that was going to be their brothers, the Levites. And then around that was going to be the congregation. And even outsiders that were going to be able to come around as another circle and eventually be incorporated into the circle of the congregation. Verse 4 again says, they shall be joined with you, talking about the Levites, and attend to the needs of the tabernacle, for all the work of the tabernacle, but an outsider shall not come near you. And you shall attend to the duties of the sanctuary and the duties of the altar, that there may be no more wrath on the children of Israel. I do not delight. God's heart is, he does not delight in having to bring down his wrath upon a people. And he has made a new and a living way to where he doesn't have to. But man in his rebellious state will find themselves sometimes staring at the wrath of God. Oh, but we don't like talking about that. It's a reality, ladies and gentlemen. It's a reality, and we have to understand that God is gracious, God is kind, God is loving, but God is just also. And he's not going to sugarcoat it for me and for you, because we got all of creation, not just this earthly creation, but even beyond, looking and seeing if God is really just in everything that he does or not. You shall attend to the duties of the sanctuary, verse 5, and the duties of the altar, that there may be no more wrath on the children of Israel. God has made a way. God has made a way that his wrath would not spread out upon the people. It's a matter of the heart. It's a matter of not just going through the motions, but it's a matter of the heart. Verse 6 says, behold, I myself have taken your brethren, the Levites, from among the children of Israel. They are a gift to you, given by the Lord Yahweh to do the work of the tabernacle of meeting. He says, I give you the Levites to help you. That's your brothers, the Levites, and they're going to help you in these things. It's a gift that I give to you. And there's going to be a coming in, and there's going to be a going out. There's going to be a coming up a level, coming up the steps and going down the steps. And I'm talking about the relationship between God all the way to the smallest and the youngest of the Israelites that are with them. And we'll look at that here pretty soon. I think maybe this chapter or next chapter. Therefore, you and your sons, Aaron, hello, Aaron, pay attention. You and your sons with you shall attend to your priesthood for everything at the altar and behind the veil. You say, well, that's kind of nice. I kind of enjoy that. That's good. That's very entertaining. Wait. If you are in relationship with the God of eternity, if you have the revelation that the God of creation and the God all-knowing, all-loving, the only true God, and you are in relationship with him, you become a kingdom of priests. When you become a kingdom of priests, there is a responsibility that comes along with it, because the responsibility is, yes, toward God, but it's also a responsibility toward the other people. And we'll talk during the 7 o'clock hour about salt and about leaven for you KLYN people who haven't heard last Sunday's message yet. There's a responsibility that comes along with it. And that's the priesthood was bearing a lot of that responsibility, but the Levites were given to them to help them in the cause, in everything that they were going to do. Therefore, you and your son shall attend to the priesthood for everything at the altar. Behind the veil you shall serve. I give you the priesthood to you as a gift for service, but the outsider comes near shall be put to death. We say, well, it looks like if that's a pretty heavy responsibility that they have, you're right. You're right. But along with the responsibility that God gives us, he also gives us the grace, the power, and ability to fulfill. So in understanding that there's grace, abundant grace for whoever has the power.
Without thy blood was shed. with a pure heart, Lord.
30 minutes after the hour, that was Acquire the Fire singing Just As I Am. It's weather time. A little out of sorts here on the weather today. My regular everyday, used it for 15-year weather site is down. I don't know what happened. Maybe their servers went down. Maybe they threw in the towel. I am not sure, but I had to search high and low for a different weather site that had the information for you this morning. I know you thought that I studied the weather, that I was a part-time meteorologist and is out doing the homework for you all night long. I got other things to do. I don't mind waking up early in the morning, but I have other things to do. We'll let the experts do it. So we're going to another website called localconditions.com for Las Vegas and surrounding areas. Sunny today with a high near 56. North wind 5 to 10 miles per hour, becoming south in the afternoon. On Saturday, sunny, high near 64. South wind 5 to 10, increasing 10 to 15 this afternoon. On Saturday, and then Sunday, sunny skies, a high near 70, hallelujah, with southwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. And that's what I'm showing as an updated weather report. My little weather station outside says that we have a current temperature at 2207 7th Street of 35 degrees. Let's just get back into the 18th chapter and look at God speaking unto Aaron concerning the priesthood and the Levites and the people. God has made a new and a living way. God has opened up a door for the sons of Abraham. And he has even today opened up a door for the sons of Abraham, those who by faith will approach God. See, serving at the altar and at the tabernacle was by faith. The grace of God was there. The grace of God for them to perform the task was there. And by faith, Aaron and his sons were going to serve according to the command of God. Same with the Levites. Same with the congregation. Everything was to be done by faith. Therefore, you and your sons, verse 7, with you shall attend to your priesthood for everything at the altar, and behind the veil you shall serve. I give the priesthood to you as a gift for service, but the outsider who comes near shall be put to death. It's not his responsibility. It's not his. There was a king one time who decided he was going to go into the temple and he was going to offer the sacrifice of the priest, and God brought judgment down upon his life. I think it was leprosy that the guy got, because we should have killed him. But verse 8 says, and the Lord spoke to Aaron, here I myself have also given you charge of my heave offering. All the holy gifts of the children of Israel I have given them as a portion to you and your sons as an ordinance forever. It says here, I myself. He says, I've given you charge of my heave offerings. All the holy gifts of the children of Israel I have given them as a portion to you and your sons as an ordinance forever. How are we going to live, God? How are we going to... Okay, so I'm going to tell you. I've given you charge of the heave offerings. I've given you a portion of the holy gifts. From this shall be yours. From the most holy things reserved from the fire, every offering of theirs, every grain offering, every sin offering, every trespass offering which they render to me shall be most holy for you and your sons. In a most holy place you shall eat it. Every male shall eat it. It shall be holy to you. And what God is telling the Levites and actually reminding Aaron is that there's going to be a portion of every sacrifice that is going to be brought in that is going to be burnt as a sweet savor unto the Lord. The rest of it was going to be for the priesthood and for the Levites. And explains it here. He says, you're not going to have, when you go into the land, you're not going to have your own tribal inheritance. But I'm going to take care of you. In a most holy place you shall eat it. Every male shall eat it. It shall be holy to you. So when they bring the offering, God would get his part of the offering. The rest of it would be for the priesthood and for the Levites. This also is yours, the heave offering of their gift. With all the wave offerings of the children of Israel, I have given them to you and to your sons and daughters with you as an ordinance forever. Everyone who is clean in your house may eat it. So it was going to be one way that God was going to take care of the needs of the priesthood and the Levites. And specifically, we're talking to the priesthood right now. All the best of the oil, all the best of the new wine and the grain, their first fruits, what they offer to the Lord, I have given them to you. And see, this is the way it was going to work. The people were going to bring their offering unto the tabernacle. It was going to be the best of the best. Whatever they brought was going to be the choicest of the harvest, the choicest of whatever the return that God had given for their labor. The blessings of God was going to be the best, the top, the best. And out of that is going to be for the priests and for the Levites. The best of the oil, the best of the new wine and the grain. Whatever first ripe fruit is in their land, which they bring to the Lord Yahweh, shall be yours. Everyone who is clean in your house may eat it. How are we going to feed God? How are we going to take care? We're going to be so busy. Don't worry, Aaron. I got you covered, brother. Let me show you how I got you covered. I'm going to share in the offerings that they bring to me with you. I'm a good God. I'm a giving God. I'm Jehovah Jireh, your provider. I'm going to take care of you. Every devoted thing in Israel shall be yours. Everything that first opens the womb of all the flesh which they bring to Yahweh, whether man or beast, shall be yours. Nevertheless, the firstborn of man you shall surely redeem, and the firstborn of unclean animals you shall redeem. So he says, when they bring animals, when they bring crops, when they bring their first fruits, and they bring it unto the temple, he says, I'll get my part and you get the rest. And when they come to redeem a man, because the firstborn of every family was going to be dedicated unto the Lord, and they were going to redeem that person, he says that part is going to be yours. You're going to get your part out of that. And those redeemed of the devoted things you shall redeem when 1 month old, according to your valuation, 5 shekels of silver, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, which is 20 gerahs. And I think everybody knows that 20 gerahs makes up a shekel. I mean, come on now. For the firstborn of a cow. Have you ever seen... You ever seen, I play this trick. I'm a guy. I play this trick on kids many times before. I give them, I show them a penny or a dime, and I ask them which one do they want. Well, the penny's bigger. They're going to pick the penny most of the time. Ha ha. Got you again. The firstborn of a cow, the firstborn of a sheep, the firstborn of a goat you shall not redeem. They are holy. You shall sprinkle their blood on the altar and burn their fat as an offering made by fire for a sweet aroma to the Lord, and the flesh shall be yours. So when they bring a cow or sheep or goat as an offering, he says, you're going to get your part off of that. But they belong to me first. They are holy. You shall sprinkle their blood on the altar and burn the fat. So the fat is the sin offering unto the Lord. The fat is that prayer offering unto the Lord, like the incense. And he says, and their flesh shall be yours, just as the wave breast and the right thigh are yours. All the heave offerings and the holy things which the children of Israel offer to the Lord, I have given to you and your sons and your daughters with you as an ordinance forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before the Lord with you and your descendants with you. So he says, you tell your children and your grandchildren that I'm going to take care of their children and their grandchildren, and it's going to keep on going all the way down the line, down the line. And, we talked a little bit earlier in the program about it goes down, but then it comes back up. And it goes down, and God says, I'm going to take care of you down line. The people are going to take care of you. They're going to bring their offering, but you're going to bear the iniquity of the sanctuary and of the priesthood. That's the responsibility. That's the bearing of the iniquity. It was the responsibility that was laid upon the shoulders of the sons of Aaron and their brother Levites. Then the Lord said to Aaron, you shall have no inheritance in their land. Oh, God, what about, don't you worry, I'm going to take care of you, son. Don't worry. We're having this very important meeting with God and his high priest. He says, you shall have no inheritance in their land. Nor shall you have any portion among them. I am your portion and your inheritance among the children of Israel. Oh my God. There's a scripture I think it's from the book of Genesis right now I'm thinking of that I just love. But here's what God is telling Aaron. When you enter into the land, you're not going to have your portion. You're not going to have a tribal allotment. You're going to be scattered throughout all the different tribal allotments that are out there. You shall have no inheritance in their land, nor shall you have any portion among them. But God says, I am your portion. Didn't God tell? Let's see if I can find this. Maybe, where are we with, how come I can't see treasury of scriptural knowledge? Oh, it's there already up. Didn't God tell Abraham, I am your exceeding great reward? Oh, maybe it's, how come? I am thy part. Where is it that God told? Didn't God tell Abraham? You see, that's the same thing that he's telling. He's telling Aaron and his descendants here. I'm your reward, son. Not a piece of land. I'm your reward. You shall have no inheritance in their land, nor shall you have any portion among them. I am your portion and your inheritance among the children of Israel. You get to be closer to me. You get to be inside, and you have a responsibility that comes along with it. Everybody wants the position, but very few want to accept the responsibility that come along with it. Okay, I'll just say that one more time. Everybody wants the position. We like the title. We like the honor that comes along with it and the respect that comes along with it. But there's a responsibility. And that's what separates the men from the boys when it comes down to the real called versus those who aren't. Behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tithes in Israel as an inheritance in return for the work which they perform, the work of the tabernacle of meeting. So when the tithe comes in, the monetary tithe comes into the tabernacle, it is for the sons of Levi. Because none of the Levites are going to have that tribal allotment. They were not going to have their inheritance of land. God was going to be their portion. Verse 21. And I wasn't sure if this was in 18th or the 19th chapter, but here it is. Behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tithes in Israel as an inheritance in return for the work which they perform, the work of the tabernacle of meeting. So the tithe is going to come to the Levites. Hereafter the children of Israel shall not come near the tabernacle of meeting, lest they bear the sin and die. You know, that's the job of the Levites, and then the inner circle of the priesthood is to take care of the things of the tabernacle. But the Levites shall perform the work of the tabernacle of meeting. They shall bear their iniquity. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations that among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. For the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer up as a heave offering to the Lord, I have given to the Levites as an inheritance. See, this is what God told Israel later on in their history, and this comes from the book of Malachi. Bring all the tithe into the storehouse, bring all the tithes in the storehouse, that there may be meat in my house. Why? Because he had promised it to the Levites, so that their job was going to be to minister to the people and to God at the same time. The tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer up as a heave offering, I have given to the Levites as inheritance. Therefore, I have said to them, among the children of Israel, they shall have no inheritance. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. Say, Moses, now this talking to you on this one. Yes, sir. Speak thus to the Levites, and say to them, when you take from the children of Israel the tithes which I have given you from among them as your inheritance, then you shall offer up a heave offering of it to the Lord, a tenth of the tithe. So we talked about the descending. We talked about the ascending order. He says this is the way it's going to work. As it ascends up, the people are going to give a tithe to the Levites. So let's say there was 1,000. Out of that 1,000, the tithe was 100 that was going to come to the Levites. Out of that 100, there was going to be a tithe of the tithe, which is going to be a 10, because we went from 1,000 to 100 to a 10 that goes unto God, and God was going to give it unto this priesthood. You shall offer it up as a heave offering to the Lord for a tenth of the tithe. So the heave offering was an offering that they would raise up. They would raise it up on their hands toward heaven. They say, God, we're lifting this up to you. This is the tithe of the tithe that we're lifting up for you. And your heave offering shall be reckoned to you as though it were the grain of the threshing floor and all the fullness of the winepress. Because that's what it came from. It came from the commerce that they worked at. Your heave offering shall be reckoned to you as though it were the grain of. Just like if you were out there working the fields, that's your tithe. You shall offer a heave offering to the Lord from all your tithes which you receive from the children of Israel, and you shall give the Lord's heave offering from it to Aaron the priest. So the people bring in from the 1,000, the people bring in their 100 to Levi, and the Levi come in and bring their tithe, which is $10, 10 bushels, 10 cattle, whatever it was to give it to the priesthood. But first of all, they dedicated unto the Lord. First of all, it was a heave offering unto the Lord. And the Lord says, okay, give it to Aaron's sons. You shall give it to the Lord. You shall give the Lord's heave offering from it to Aaron the priest. This was God's way. This is God's economy, God's way of taking care of the people from the littlest to the greatest. From the high priest all the way down, he was going to take care of his people. No one was going to be hungry in God's house. All they had to do was to relate to him by faith. That's all they had to do. No more, no less. It's still the same. That's why the Galatian church got rebuked by Paul in the third chapter of the letter that he wrote to him. He called them foolish. You foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you? Cast a spell on you, man. It's by faith. It always has been by faith. All of your gifts, verse 29, you shall offer up every heave offering due to the Lord from the best of them and consecrated part of them. So God says, nation of Israel, bring your tithe unto the Levite, and I'll continue to bless you. Levi, give your tithe from the tithe to the priesthood, and I'm going to bless you. And the priesthood, there's your blessing. Now go minister to my people. Now go bear the responsibility of the iniquity in the tabernacle. And I will take care of you and your family, and I will take care of every tent that is out there in the wilderness with me. There shall be no lack in the land. Because they were a giving people. Therefore you shall say to them, when you have lifted up the best of it, then the rest shall be accounted to the Levites as the produce of the threshing floor and as the produce of the winepress. It says, when you've lifted it up, you've done the heave offering. When you've lifted it up, he says, the rest shall be accounted to the Levites as the produce of the threshing floor, as the produce of the winepress. You may eat it in any place, you and your households, for it is your reward for your work in the tabernacle of meeting. That's the way God was going to take care of the Levites through the people, and the priesthood through the tithe of the Levites. God's economy, God's way of taking care of business. And all we have to do is be responding to God by faith. Bring in your tithe, because God's going to tell the people in Malachi's time once again, you're robbing me. How are we robbing you, God? He says, in tithes and offerings, you're robbing me. The priests, the Levites can't perform their function, and the priests, are going hungry, and they can't get out over there and intercede for you properly the way I want them to, because you guys are robbing me. You're robbing me not of the money, you're robbing me of the hearts of the people. That's where the thievery was going on. It was going on that the people's hearts were faithless versus God wanting them to be faithful. You shall bear no sin because of it. When you have lifted up the best of it, you shall not profane the holy gifts of the children of Israel, lest you die. Don't consider the gifts as an unholy thing, as a profane thing. Now we move over to the next chapter. Got a few minutes left. And I had to cut off yesterday early. I mean, usually we go. My plan yesterday was going to about 26 minutes after the hour. And about 15 minutes after, I don't know exact time when it was, oh my God, I got a cramp in my leg. I don't know if you noticed, my tune changed the last couple of minutes of the teaching, but all of a sudden, I got a cramp. Like I had got one that night as I went to bed, and then it came again yesterday morning. I was getting ready to close off the program, so I closed it off a little early. Said, "Oh," and it hurt. So now we're trying to go up to about about 57 minutes. Now, the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, "This is the ordinance of the law which the Lord has commanded, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, that they bring you a red heifer without blemish, in which there is no defect, and on which the yoke has never come." So here's where the red heifer comes in. I don't know if you've ever studied about the red heifer. I jokingly talk about the red heifer every once in a while. I know that many eschatological websites talk about the red heifer occasionally, and that they've been looking for it, and they think they found one in Iowa, and they're going to ship it over to Israel so that the priests in Jerusalem can check it out, because we need a red heifer so that we can have a temple, and the temple has to be rebuilt, and it goes on and on and on. So I make jokes about people looking for the red heifer, because it can't have one white hair on it. It has to be the red heifer. Speak to the children of Israel that they bring you a red heifer without blemish, in which there is no defect, on which a yoke has never come. You shall give it to Eleazar the priest. who is the son of Aaron, that he may take it outside the camp, and it shall be slaughtered before him. And Eleazar the priest shall take some of the blood with his finger, sprinkle some of its blood 7 times directly in front of the tabernacle of meeting. Then the heifer shall be burned in his sight, its hide, its flesh, its blood, and its offal shall be burned. So they were going to take the red heifer outside the camp, and the priest was going to take some of its blood with his finger and sprinkle some of its blood 7 times directly in front of the tabernacle of meeting. Then the heifer was going to be burned in his sight. Everything, the hide, the flesh, the blood, it's offal, meaning that all the parts of it was going to be burnt. And the priest, after he's finished sprinkling the blood, shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet and cast them into the midst of the fire, burning the heifer. And I'm sure there's some real deep stuff over here, ladies and gentlemen, that I just don't have the ability, the revelation to talk to you about the hyssop and the scarlet and the cedar wood. I know the scarlet can represent the blood of Jesus, that deep color. I'm just not the guy to tell you that this time around. But what we're going to do, talking about this particular time around, is we're going to put our bookmark on the 7th verse of the 19th chapter of the book of Numbers, and that's where we're going to continue on Monday's program. For you for you KLYN people, Sunday sermon coming up at the top of the hour.